in a time loop. Remember, they said he ate his kids, he ate his babies. How the fuck do you do that? It was a metaphor where the Mother Earth would be receiving her babies. Y'all used to go through a tree and all through this motherfucker is in energy field form and only take physical form when you fucking felt like it. That's why you got 5 million year old footprints with no fucking bones and no fossil remains back then. 50 million, 500 million years ago. Footprints, but no fossil human bone remains. You are eternal. You can take physical form. You can alter this shit that they call a body. You can heal it or destroy it. But if you don't flip the grid, this devil gonna continue to oppress you, subjugate you, and your sons and daughters. They told them that it was one motherfucker they would call to get the key. Thoth can't stand Enlil's management of people because he said you treat them like less than human. Okay, so now you got the 3 characters, a quick overview. Now, we under Enlil's rule, military contingent, square it off, straight lines, left linear logic, all father brain, no motherland, no beauty in it, nothing, cut it up. That's Enlil. So there's a key, what they call the key of all keys, which is the key of all master keys, called the gorilla key, or it's called the Congo key, or it's called the fuck it key. And it's to give you telepathic communications with all species of totem animal, meaning that all of the queens that represent a certain totem animal will communicate with you telepathically because they already was under an agreement with Enki that if it happened that he had to surrender the gorilla key to the only person that ever looked out since them motherfuckers got here, and that's their little brother, Nenegajita. So he knew that the only motherfucker he could trust to make Enlil do right was Enlil's son they called Marduk, which was his cousin. Marduk don't give a fuck about Earth one way or the other. He came to do a job, he did it, and he left. They made an agreement, and the agreement was to marry the bloodlines in order to solidify a key, the Enlil key, the booming voice of Enlil, of the voice of many waters from the sky, which is thunder, which is Thor. And that's why yesterday was Thursday, Thor's Day, where you had to be worthy before you can manifest starting on a Freya, Friday. Freya is a female deity. It's a feminine energy coming in on a Friday. And this is why Friday, everybody want to go party. Don't nobody want to go party on Monday, the moon day, because you're supposed to do everything slower Mondays anyway, so that the moon energy can have maximum effect on raising your consciousness to prepare you to be creative for the upcoming days that you're going to be doing what was art that now becomes work. It's work now. Yep. So the King Kong movie, since you brought it up, King Kong versus Godzilla. Godzilla is the old reptilian contingent, right? And Godzilla the King Kong represents the primate key, meaning the perfected mate key, the key that makes a man want to make himself the best man on the planet for the women. It's called a primate key, which is the gorilla key, which is the Congo key. Now, once you get the Congo key, there's a Congo basin on every landmass on the planet. Yep, and that's why I was ready when you asked me on your terms. You didn't want to really get into the video. You wanted me to do a live, and I told you if you was going to go on there, and you was willing to, knowing you was camera shy. So Mama blocked you from getting on the video because she didn't want you to be under the pressure, because she said this is not y'all time to have hard emotions, because she's trying to soften y'all up for this incoming mass fluctuation of feminine energy, that y'all gonna be Tesla coils connecting one to the other in order to balance this shit out. Because the stellar alignments that's coming up within the next 6 months is going to put the women on the forefront, where if the men don't act right trying to have sex with him, he gonna short circuit. I call it a 9-volt nigga with a 2,000-volt woman. Let him short circuit. If he have a stroke, y'all already know what the fuck it was. He wasn't trying to up his game, nor his level, nor his vibration. He didn't rise to the occasion, vibratorially speaking, in order to get into the alignment of the energy that's coming in. The Christ consciousness is going to turn your mitochondrial all the way on 10. Then it's going to multiply that by 10. Then it's going to echo through your womb and spark your motherfucking melanin that's going to make your hair stand up and shoot sparks. Ain't nothing wrong with you. Don't let them motherfuckers tell you that you having a nervous breakdown or none of that shit. Absorb that energy. If you don't know what to do, go outside, stand barefooted. You're going to automatically know what to do when it start coming. Because these stars about to line up. The switch about to flip. And y'all about to feel it. And any motherfucker that couldn't get right, that's them. They going to get exactly what they worked for. Good, bad, or indifferent only. They're not going to get no extra shit to the bad or the good. Every motherfucker going to get exactly what they work for. Good, bad, or indifferent. Your labor is going to be the outcome of your reward. That's just the way it is. This is a soul simulator process. In order to upgrade the planet, we have to upgrade our souls. We know how to upgrade our souls. We have to put ourselves under personal pressures that only the golden ones can take. That's why it looked like we was under slavery. We was willing to flip the oppressed that came from Europe on top of us. We was willing to flip them on top of us to make us strong enough to upgrade us, to upgrade the planet, to oust all imposters that don't belong here. And you know they don't belong here because they treat people as pets. If you treat people as pets, this is not your planet. You got people that treat people as pets and treat pets better than people. They don't belong here. That don't match my. That's not the energy of the netter, which is nature, that fluctuates through the grid, of the electromagnetic grid of the planet. It's just the way it is. Now we get to the point where you think you're just going to lay up with this girl and she ain't feeling you, you're going to short circuit your fuses. You're going to be on your fucking own. You got nothing to do with me because I told you. Up your game, up your vibration. Clean your liver. The first thing to do is start cleaning your liver. Milk thistle and dandelion. And if you're not sure, Doc Pitt. On my page, Doc Pitt. Boom. Right? Well, you can't have no human pets. There's no big eyes and no little U's. We didn't have that over here. That's new to this land. And that's why everybody was like they contaminating God's country. This is why they call it the great melding pot. This is why they always talking about the one drop of blood. Because the one drop of blood tie all families back to one family. It's called tying into the vine to make one royal family so that you don't have no king that everybody got to kiss his ass, even if it's me. Because I don't want nobody kissing my ass. I want to meet everybody on a level of respect. And the only way that everybody can be meeting everybody on a level of respect is everybody got to know their level. And then you got to respect people for being at the level they at when you meet them. You can either raise their level, they can raise your level, y'all can raise each other level, or y'all can split part ways so y'all don't drag each other back down. Yep. So Doc Pitt is who I recommend because me and him worked together before. I want to do a seminar for oncologists on how to cure cancer stage 4 from from a allopathic or a homeopathic method. I'm thinking about that right now. Because cancer is the dumbest shit in the world to die from, because it's so easy to fix. And they charging all that money. Pharmaceutical companies might kill a motherfucker, but this the what they call, what Nip said, if they kill me for doing this video about Sabi, then y'all ride for me. So this riding for Nip. Riding for Nip is I'm gonna take the okay, so let's talk Sabi. Well, the Coming to America, it's a very specific story, and it's very masonically loaded with what you call knocks, locks, and triggers. So watching it, yeah, I noticed the Moorish influence, but I also noticed some vague indigenous influences to us that's being flipped as an African cultural expression. It has nothing to do with the Afar Inca. It was from us, the Amur Inca. They even took the term Moor and merged it in law so that you didn't know Moray from Amaru. Amaru is the Moors that's us. Moray is the Moors that's conquistadors that come from over there. So you don't even know, if you don't know how to read your family's vibrations, you don't even know which Moor you are in truth, following paperwork, because the paperwork was designed to purposely mislead all of us. So, like, I didn't want none of this. So, let me tell you why I'm even. There's a couple of reasons. One, my mama is a prime motivator because I was born to have a purpose in life. And because thought I was living my life purposes, I went into what you call a purpose default, which is the purpose that my mother prayed for. Mama put the pressure on the boy. So, as I grew up, I observed everything around me with this monkey man, and I didn't understand, because this shit ain't us. I knew it wasn't us. So I rebelled. That's what you're supposed to do anytime you feel like you being oppressed. You're supposed to be heard. And don't stop being heard until oppression is gone. Not just stop for the weekend. That just stop to pass a bill. Bills don't mean shit. They just mean somebody got to pay something. That's all. Bills don't mean shit. They pass all the bills they want on Capitol Hill. That don't mean shit. Because anything that doesn't fall under the Iroquois Confederation of Nations, that shit don't fall under us. That ain't our shit. That's the slave trading company. Trace back, you'll find that it was two companies. It was the Northwest Slave Trading Company and the Virginia Slave Trading Company. And these two became the one that became known as the United States of America, Inc., a slave trading company. A slave trading company is part of the name in the international role. When you start talking about dealing with the International Monetary Fund, because at the end of it, they have to say what type of company they is so they can know how to categorize them according to the value of assets. A slave trading company had way more assets than a mining company, because every miner is an asset of a slave trading company if they filled out a 1099, a W-2, or a W-4. You are declaring yourself an asset of a slave trading company. And as an asset, then that means that you subject to the collection rights of the collection agency that was hired to collect the slave trading company's duty. And this entity that was hired to collect the duty for the slave trading company, you know them as the Internal Revenue Service. Well, they are to move revenue internally as a service to who? The Fed. But who in the fuck is the Fed? The Fed is the Federal Reserve, which comes from overseas and come over here and they adjust your interest rate to tell you how much value your labor is going to have in the terms of their monopoly money. Yeah, they got some hot topics going on. I'm gonna come back over this video and I'm gonna be going over some of the comments and commenting on them because y'all dropping some heat for me in there. So anyway, the slave trading company hired a tax collection company. So this is your Robin Hood story that you got to tell it in the fairy tale if you can't tell it in the newspaper. So they tell it in the fairy tale. This Robin Hood just coming to collect the taxes. Why is Robin Hood robbing the tax man and giving the money to the poor folks all the time? Because the tax man is taking the money, living high off the hog, and he's giving it to the king, but he's keeping the what you call lion's share. Well, that's a problem because the lion is the king of the fucking jungle, and the king want his shit. So when the king find out that they've been taking the lion's share, the king's share of the pot, then the IRS becomes in default to the king, which means he sees them as an asset. Once he do a public notice that he then sees the collection agency also as an asset, all assets of the agency becomes the assets of the crown, which in this case would be the high chief of the land, which is Chief Pontiac, which is currently executing an open public order in the form of a public notice because we are watching this shit publicly and y'all clearly understand that I'm explaining to you the redemption process for reclaiming our shit according to our standard and not the Caucasoid Euro standard of the law, which is actually the right and ownership of King George III. Because all of the law books is all copyrighted to London, not DC. Not only that, the first Bar Association, which is short for Barristers Association, which is the title of nobility prohibited by the Constitution, was established in Savannah, Georgia in 1863 by a commission given by King George III in a decree that allowed them to issue letters patent in the form of Esquire, Honorable, and Judge in order to pass judgment according to the crown's wishes, which was King George III, who they continuously operate under, who was working on behalf of the Pope. And the Pope done it with a papal order in 1301, 1313, and 1311, respectively, using papal bulls to claim the right to your soul and to use you as collateral in order to form a soul contract with the crown to use you as labor in order to collect for the papacy all of the what they call royal duties of the crown, in which the crown is supposed to surrender to God as a tithing, a 10% of all of the king's share, which is why Abraham gave Melchizedek a tenth of the spoils. But when the king finds out that the impostor was sitting in the Pope's seat and that none of that shit didn't belong to the Pope, and he ain't never had the right to issue no orders telling somebody that they can use somebody else to civilize the world under some rule that he called the white man's burden, that was identified clearly so you could understand it by Rudyard Kipling in a poem called The White Man's Burden. You can hear it on YouTube if you look it up. So since the white man's burden was to go around and steal everybody's shit in the name of civilization, so this becomes what you call the earthright burden that I'm carrying now. The earthright burden is this: find the anomalies, eliminate the enemy, restore Mott, which is balance. Once the balance is restored, offer the keys of the kingdom back to the matriarchy so that these peasants that was trying to pretend to be who the matriarchs are can be pushed to the side and off the picture so that we can reclaim the land, the water, and the sky, from the stars to the soil, where all of us is one of them stars that we can see. We are a star's energy running a human body. So we all overthrow this papacy for his false claims of being the closest living man to God, while he held hostage the Black Madonna in the basement of the Vatican